How did everyone discover masturbation? I was cleaning it and it accidentally went off. I heard about it from someone and did it wrong for ages based off of a vague description and wondering why it didn't feel good. Then I randomly figured it out in the shower one day and it was like, oh. I can't speak for everyone, but I know at least 3 people that discovered it by walking into my damn room without knocking. I joined the Boy Scouts and was issued the Boy Scouts handbook. This was in the late 70s. Back then the Boy Scouts handbook had a section explaining why masturbation was bad. Up until that point I didn't even know what masturbation was. The book inspired me to find out. Turns out it wasn't bad at all. I was getting called gay in middle school and the dude calling me gay asked me how much I jack off. I had no clue what he was talking about and so here he is describing how to jack off very uncomfortably in the context. I went home and tried it in the shower and finally understood why my mom always made fun of me for taking long showers. In the 6th grade, a friend of mine asked me in class, did you know if you rub lotion on your K for 11 minutes, sperm shoots out of it? Yeah, of course I know that. I didn't. That night, I locked myself in the bathroom with a mission to complete. I had lotion and a wristwatch. My older brother's friend showed me how when I was about 14. His friend and I were out canoeing together on a remote mountain lake while my brother was way back at the dock, out of sight. It's a wonder we didn't tip the canoe over when he just took it out to get some sundae. Friend gave me porn, told me to shake pee for better experience and see the wonders that await. It's the night of 11th June 2008, less than 24 hours after my 10th birthday. I'd spent all day downloading songs onto my new iPod Touch. As I lay in bed listening to my newly discovered gangster rap albums I came across the song Guilty Conscience by Eminem. There is a verse where Eminem and Dr. Dre rap about a man coming home to find his wife in bed with another dude. There is one line where she is making sexual moans and it got me excited. I played that one line on repeat and had my first ever wank over it. I looked up can women masturbate and was not disappointed. Swimming in our pool and discovered that the water jets felt amazing against certain body parts. Took me a little while to figure out how to achieve the same results without going for a swim, but that was definitely the jumping off point. Realized I could sit on my foot to grind its heel up against my cooch. Started doing it in school with friends over, etc. Birth given never explained why I shouldn't do it, just that I shouldn't. Led to a very embarrassing moment I still remember where I went up to her and proudly exclaimed I hadn't done it in a week. I was so damn ready to gloat. We learned about it in sex in the 5th grade. The next day all the boys came back with wide eyes. Eventually we all started doing it together cause school taught us it, so it must be normal. Normally I'll lurk here, but here it goes. I was about 19. Sexually active. Never masturbated or had an orgasm yet. Got bored one day and decided to try out a vibrator I had for the first time. Up until this point, I never had touched my clit before. Never had anyone touch it either. In fact, I don't even recall knowing anything about it up until that point. Thanks, said. The moment the vibrating head touched it my legs went stiff, and I probably blacked out for a good 2 minutes straight. I continued doing that for the next 5 hours. I was 16, in the locker room after pep. Bunch of dudes are saying man, this guy's drink looks like just shooting the shit. I try to join in and joke around. Much like that scene out 40-year-old virgin where they talk about sex. One guy noticed that my description of semen is a little off. He was a chill dude, pulled me aside, and was like, have you really never even jerked it, dude? Before I could answer he said, seriously, you need to, it's the best. Take this advice from a friend. Over a long process of 4 to 6 months after that conversation, I stole porn from my older brother's stash. Traded it at school for a longer porn. Waited till my family was gone then popped that bitch into my PS2. Best afternoon of my life. Made some mistakes. Don't use hand sanitizer, kids, but it was great. Funny enough, I knew about masturbation long before all of this. My family wasn't the type to avoid those types of conversations. Just didn't see the need until my friend urged me to. My friend and I were on a Mad Libs website having a super good time filling in ridiculous answers. To make a funny story, we were searching for another one to do and found what was basically an erotic Mad Lib where you fill your name into it. It was about two girls getting it on and it kinda made me feel funny and I couldn't stop thinking about it. That night, I was hugging my body pillow to fall asleep like I always did and kept thinking about that story. Without really realizing, I ended up grinding on my pillow and my first ever orgasm sprung up on me out of nowhere. I was concerned because I had no idea what it was and it felt way too good. It took me like a week to realize what happened. So, the odd things is, I found out about porn before masturbation. I saw the porn and learned about masturbation from it. I was a naive child and a neighbor girl used to orchestrate games that would always involve our naughty bits in some capacity. I had no idea what we were actually doing, although I was aware it was scandalous. I unexpectedly encountered the eventual result of messing with it while I was playing with her one day. It scared me half to death. I was 5 years old. Something about Princess Jasmine in Aladdin when she's a slave and the way Jafar calls her pussycat turned me on. It's not surprising I'm now in a BDSM relationship. I've heard about it, not knowing at all what it will do. One evening I wanted to test it. I wanked for 2 to 3 and nothing happened. I decided to stop. I looked at my penis and then a huge load came out. I was so surprised that I can't remember any pleasure. I remember thinking, so this is sperm. And then I panicked because I had nothing in my chamber to clean me. I took an old t-shirt and threw it under my bed. I just instinctively started humping my bed and it felt good. And when I was about 12 years old, after midnight, I watched a documentary about porn. And one of the guys said no one watches porn for the story, they watch it to jerk off, and that was a revelation to me. The purpose of porn is simply to jerk off. I should start doing that, and that is how I started to masturbate. Mind you, this was back in 2001 when our house only had a slow modem that cost a shit ton of money to use, so I didn't get this obvious information naturally from the internet. I was young, a kid, and would lay on the couch on my stomach watching TV. I remember having my hand near my vag and just kind of rubbing my hips around it, getting this awesome feeling at the end. Didn't realize it was masturbation until a long time later, maybe end of middle school? I can't even remember. When I was younger I thought it was a clever way to hold in your pee. I was so proud of this that I told mostly all the kids in my school on how to hold in your pee. I look back on this and feel sorry for the concerned parents of those kids. Believe it or not, a friend told me about it. It was along the lines of, dude, have you tried that yet? It's awesome. I sort of acted like I knew what he was talking about and just said yes. Went home later and started messing around. Once I figured it out I was like, holy shit, he wasn't kidding. As an adult it seems so foreign to discover something like that about your body. I think I was about 11 when I found out. I had access to the internet at this time with no parental blocks. I also had an interest in character/real fan fiction. I don't know why, maybe I just came across one in my search for online novels. The first few I read were pretty wholesome, as well as probably very cringy. Then I came across one with a content warning. Being the little I was, I ignored it. The content was obviously NSFW, and it made me feel things that were unfamiliar, but enjoyable. So began my curiosity with how it worked, why it happens, and where I could find more porn. Then I learned masturbation was a thing, and there were multiple guides on how to do it. I discovered it when I was 16, and pissed off nobody wanted to f me. It also took me that long because of my former religion restricting me from it. Old school 30-second Girls Gone Wild commercial. You knew when you hear warning, you got to fap in. Remember the Spice Channel? Out of curiosity at 11 years old, I tuned in there, and for some reason, it was clear. It would be blurry for a secretary or two, here and there, but overall it was clear. Saw a woman in the shower playing with herself, then a guy joins, and starts pounding her from behind. So I thought you were supposed to just rub your dick on her ass. That's what I thought sex was, so out of curiosity, I just rubbed the bottom of my dick, and I thought, piss came out after several minutes. I attempted to a bunch of Victoria's Secret magazines, specifically the panties. Man all the way, but was never successful. One day I went into our guest bathroom, took our cucumber melon decorative hand lotion, and just went at it. I started feeling it. An intense explosion of new feelings, and a tiny spurt later, I had unlocked a door to a magical realm to which I have never looked back. I also can never use cucumber melon lotion ever again. When I was a kid I saw a pregnant woman and got interested. I went to the library and googled pregnant woman naked. Went home and squeezed it off with the picture still fresh on my head. And that's how my pregnant fetish began. I was climbing a tree, resting on a big branch, and it felt good. That first time I just sort of humped the tree branch, until I really had to pee, so I peed off the tree. But that is basically what started me realizing a certain sensation. I was young. We just got cable. Late at night, watching boobs on Cinemax. My dog was sitting between my legs. I got a boner and shifted around a bit. And I kept shifting. Until whoa, what was that? Yeah. So I humped my dog, I guess.